Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for coming. We really appreciate your attendance, and I should say this is a very important evening because it's the kickoff to our scheduling program for grade 10. And we are just so proud of the opportunities and options we have available. But this is really the foundational piece that's going to hopefully help you understand everything that is out there for you, and we do have a lot. So tonight we're going to describe the pathways available for grades 11 and 12, the similarities between the career-related program and the diploma program. And I should say again, we're so proud to have these two programs. We're one of the only schools in Europe to offer both of those programs. We're going to describe the components of each of these programs and then the counseling process. So you see lots of people around the room today. We're all here to help you. We have our deans of students, we have our counselors, and we even have Dr. Calloway standing there. And so we should say that I'm Dr. Sturm, the principal of the upper school, but any one of us can help you because this is a process and we can't expect everything to be answered tonight because it's a complex range of opportunities that we have. So it's okay if you don't get it all tonight in this 1 hour program. We're going to be here over the coming weeks, days, weeks, and months to hopefully answer your questions. A few pieces that I just want to mention. Really, there's something for everyone. We have lots of different opportunities in the arts, in the sciences, in math, in social studies or INS, individuals and societies. We have so many different things available to you. And so part of tonight is to kind of begin to understand what there is and then to think about it. So by the time you make your final choices, you know you're making an informed choice. The other piece I would mention is we're very proud of the quality of our programs, both the diploma program and the career-related program. And as I mentioned, we are one of the only schools in Europe to offer both of these programs. We are proud of the quality of these. Diploma program, we've been a DP school for some 25 years. We are continually scoring with some of the best schools in Europe. We do very well. But on the career-related side, as I mentioned, we're one of the only programs. And so the things that we are able to offer students are truly unique, especially here in the Czech Republic, but further afield in Europe as well. And the last thing I would say is we have a tremendously experienced and expert teaching staff to be able to deliver this program. We have teachers who are examiners in their field. They write curriculum. Some of them have written books. They are truly expert at delivering the program. And they have been presenting, actually, our teachers, they've started to present to the grade 10 as early as last week, and they're going to continue to do so. So all of our students are getting to know them. One thing I do want to mention at the back of everything, we're going to hear tonight about the diploma program and the career-related program. But behind that, we have the ISP Diploma. Every student that graduates from ISP is going also for the ISP Diploma, which is based on the American Diploma program. And so our counselors help students make sure that they're meeting the requirements of the ISP Diploma, and you see that behind me. So 4 credits in English, 3 credits in math, and so on. And so this is something we kind of take for granted, but this is key, especially if you're applying to certain universities where this is required, and especially in the United States. So you're going to hear some about that, but that's at the background. Okay, without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to our IB coordinators, our IB Diploma coordinator, Miss Amanda Lenk, and our career-related program coordinator, Mr. Matt Eames. Let's give them a round of applause, please. Thank you.
Okay, so these are the two pathways that we offer students as they move into grade 11. As Dr. Sturm said, we have the high school diploma in the background, but these is the big choice that the students are making really, whether to pursue the career-related program or the diploma program. Whichever program the students choose to pursue, there's lots of similarities between the two. So you can see here that they both include diploma courses. The diploma program has at least 6 courses, and the career-related program has at least 2 courses and up to 4 diploma courses. They both have an element of choice, whether in terms of which diploma program courses you're choosing or which career-related study pathway that you're choosing to follow. They both have an extended project, so there's an extended essay in the DP program and the reflective project in the career-related program. That involves a lot of self-management skills. So we're looking at a lot of skills development with the students that will transfer across the programs and outside of school as well. They both involve an aspect of community engagement, and they both involve some examinations and some internal assessments where the teachers are assessing the students' work. So when we look at what each program has to offer, I'm going to talk a little bit about the CP program because this is my area. Students that choose to pursue the CP program, they're really students that have a focus or want to focus on a very specific career area. So that might be something to do with the arts, it might be something to do with business, maybe something to do with sport, but they're pretty clear about what their passion is at this point. Post high school, they may be looking towards university or maybe a vocational college, or maybe they're looking towards an internship. They're going to be students that enjoy engaging with external organisations, either face-to-face or online. They're happy stepping kind of outside of the bounds of the school. Maybe they want to look towards a programme that offers college credit, and depending on which pathway they choose, it may be that they enjoy online learning. Okay. For the DP programme.
So the diploma program is a more traditional program, and it may look like what you are most familiar with in terms of high school pathways towards graduation. Also, it is the more populated program at our school. So if you have talked with parents of grade 11 and 12 students, or if you have been the parent of a grade 11 or 12 student in the school, you are probably familiar with the DP program. Because it is more traditional, it is often associated with entry into highly selective universities, although that's changing as the CP becomes more well-known. And it is built on a model that requires our students to study a broad range of subjects. Within that broad range of subjects, there is room for individual choice, and here we offer really a remarkable amount of choice within that range. And all of the classes are taken here at school. So whereas the CP students might be going off campus for some classes, for the diploma program, all of the classes are taught here by our teachers, or for a small number of classes that your children may choose to select, possibly an online course that is also facilitated through an online provider, but still kids do the work here at school. So traditional, focus for highly selective universities, may be more familiar to you, and also takes place here in the constraints of our school, in our school building.
Okay, so as you can see on the two diagrams here, what in some ways separates the DP and the CP is that kind of second ring there, with the DP focusing on 6 academic subjects and the CP having a career-related study as well as some diploma subjects. And the Mimi Slang are going to talk a little bit about what goes on in kind of the middle of the diagrams there, which is what's called the core components. So for the CP core, the students focus on 4 different areas. The first one is personal and professional skills, and this is helping the students develop a range of skills which will be really useful inside of school, outside of school, and once they leave school. And a lot of those skills are transferable, and they support their learning across the other core areas. So for example, one of the things they focus on is ethical thinking. And if you look at the second core component there is the reflective project, which really focuses on ethics at its heart. So the students identify an ethical dilemma related to a career area. It might be the one that they're focusing on for their career-related study, or it might be something different. And they investigate that ethical dilemma. And it's really developing research skills, communication skills, self-management skills. And then they present or they share that work through a report. Students also are involved in community engagement. That might be inside of school or outside of school. So they're looking at an issue or a challenge or an opportunity in the community. So that might be maybe an internship outside of school. It might be Stuco inside of school. And then they also engage with language and cultural studies, which is developing their kind of linguistic and cultural repertoire. So that might be learning a new language. It might be deepening their understanding of maybe their home language, maybe connecting with some grandparents, or it might be expanding their linguistic kind of abilities related to their career area. And then obviously the key part of the CP programme is the career-related study. So we offer 5 career focus areas for students: art and design, sport management, business, science, technology, mathematics, and humanities. And within each of those areas, there's a range of courses that students can choose from. And it's really up to them which pathway they choose to select. Each of these courses is delivered either in school or outside of school. We work with a number of providers, and our local providers, the students can actually go off campus and work with them directly. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment. We provide time within the timetable for students to focus on these areas. So one block of their schedule is allocated for career-related study, and they have support from one of the teachers in the school with the work that they're completing. So these are our current career-related study providers. We've got 7 at the moment. If you look in the second column there, you can see the career focus. So some of our providers, they offer a range of opportunities for the students. They're very broad-based. A couple of those are university providers. Some of them are more focused and more specialised. So you can see we've got the Swiss Sustainability Management School there, which really focuses on sustainable business practices. We've got the World Academy of Sport, which focuses solely on sport management. Some of the providers offer college credit. Sometimes that might be transferable, depending on which college the students choose to go to. And sometimes it's only transferable within that provider's bachelor programme. So again, if I give you an example, World Academy of Sport there, you would get credit towards their bachelor programme. So instead of doing a 3-year course, you would do it a 2.5-year course. As I mentioned, the local providers, so Anglo-American University, which is where 5 of our students are this year, those providers have in-person learning taking place. So those 5 students on a Tuesday between 6 and 9, they go into Prague and they join undergraduate college courses, and they sit with students who are at university there, and they will follow the university course. So it's fantastic for those students. It's a great opportunity. We've got Prague Youth Theatre, again, which is an in-person provider. A lot of the other ones are online, and it may be some online activities, some online Zoom calls where you connect with other students around the world as you're working on the different learning engagements. If you want to know more about these providers, you can come and see me. And there's also, for most of them, we're having them visit the school either in person or online over the next few weeks. You're more than welcome to join us either virtually or in person. Okay, Miss Lank.
I was reminded that I need to stand closer to the microphone for our friends who are not here. So this is me readjusting. But it's nice because it puts me next to the diagram. And as Mr. Eames mentioned, all of the IB programs have a very similar diagram. And one of the things that you will notice, and I'm sure you have in your time here, is that the child is at the core. So our students are at the heart of this. And as we're moving through a discussion of what you choose with your kid for their future here at ISP, I want to remind us that all of these things focus on building the kid not only academically, but also offering your student the chance to develop personally. And the core of both programs, whether it's the DP core or the CP core, offers our students opportunities to both protect time for what they love and also stretch their ability to think critically and engage meaningfully with the world. And in the DP, what that looks like is our core has 3 components. The first one is theory of knowledge. Our students here call it TOK. And our theory of knowledge, or TOK classes, are classes that teach kids how to think about their thinking and how to understand what they know and why what they know has value. So they deal with a range of subject areas and a range of ways of thinking about the world, and they think about thinking. So it's like philosophy, but it's more concrete because students have a lot of freedom to choose the kinds of objects and ideas that they pursue. Actually, tomorrow we're having our grade 12 exhibition where our students will be showing their TOK work from the past 2 years. And one of the things that's remarkable about the Theory of Knowledge courses is that they represent a range of interest in our students that is very, very fascinating. Students are looking at particular artifacts in context to understand what we can know about the world from those artifacts. Everything from representations of their home cultures to modern things that are happening on the political and economic stages. It's quite interesting. So Theory of Knowledge is a kind of old-fashioned philosophy course with the new twist of our world context. Creativity, activity, and service is something that you may have heard about if you have spent some time at our school. Kids call it CAS, right, for short. And creativity, activity, and service is a bubble that we like to create for kids in which they have some time to protect the things that make them human, not just academic robots that move through a program, but it protects time for the things that they love. So it requires students to spend some time every week engaging in meaningful creative work. It requires them to spend some time every week moving their body and keeping their body active to engage their mind. And it requires service. So it requires for a little bit of time every week for our students to work with our community in a way that helps them learn how to support each other, but also how to build the skills that make meaningful collaboration work. And then finally, we have the extended essay. And of the core components of the diploma program, this is the one that students often fear the most because of this number right here, the 4,000 word essay. But it actually is such a remarkable process because although it is a rigorous, independent academic project, a 4,000 word essay, students get to choose the subject that it's written in, they get to write their own research question, and they get to work with a supervisor, a faculty member in this building who also loves that subject area to explore content that should be quite meaningful for them. Every extended essay student I have worked with but one in my career, and the other day I was trying to figure out how many that is, and it is very many, have overwritten the 4,000 words. So more students find that they have more to say about the subjects that they chose than that they don't have enough to say. And it requires a great deal of thinking about how to engage meaningfully with the world of academics. The diploma program has 6 subject areas in it, and the subject areas are grouped into numbered groups. So we have groups 1 through 6. And our students are required to engage with all or some of these groups. Group 1 is language and literature, and in it is included English language and literature, and other language A. So the IB offers a bilingual diploma, and the bilingual diploma is offered to students who are able to show their expertise in 2 languages A. So that means that they are working in a highly fluent capacity in both English and another language. If you are somebody who speaks a language at home that is different than the language of instruction here, so if you speak a language at home that is not English, and you yourself studied in a language that is not English, then you may find that this is a really great opportunity for your students to engage meaningfully with the language of your culture. When I talked with my son about the languages that he studied, he was a DP student and he graduated from Overseas School of Colombo in Sri Lanka. We talked about the bilingual diploma because I wanted for him to be able to read texts that I had read when I was young. And I knew that it was going to be the last opportunity for him before he entered an American university to study in a language that was meaningful to us as a family. So the bilingual diploma is prestigious. It has cachet and a little bit of glamour with it. But in addition to that, it can be an important tool for you to remain connected to your roots and to connect your child to the roots. Research shows us that a student who does a bilingual diploma is more likely to have children that speak their home language. So if you want to talk in a language with your grandchildren, the language that you spoke with your parents, then you should think about what bilingualism means at this stage. In addition to that, that was my plug for the bilingual diploma, FYI. Not all of them are going to be like this. I just really value multilingualism. So group 2 is language acquisition. So this is a language B, or a second or another language. That might not be your first or best functioning language, but it's something that you are learning because we require our students to be citizens of the world, and being multilingual is part of that. We offer sorry, you tell it's been a long day. Spanish and French, right? German and English as language B options. And if you are looking at taking English language B, I would like to talk with you, or you need to talk with your counselors very meaningfully about the structures that you take to prepare for that. Just to make sure that everything is covered in terms of your graduation requirements and that you have a balance in your program. Group 3 is individuals and societies. We offer online, in the building, psychology, history, global politics, economics, business management, and environmental systems and societies. We also have 2 online courses. We have digital society and philosophy that are offered through Pamoja. Environmental systems and societies is a special course because it is interdisciplinary, so it can be used as a group 3 individuals and societies course, or it can be used as a group 4 sciences class. So our sciences are bio, chem, physics, environmental systems and societies, computer science, sports exercise, and health science. There's a big range of options there. Group 5, we have mathematics. Mr. Fransky is here, and he will be talking to you in more depth towards the end of this presentation about our math choices. And we have the arts, music, film, visual arts, and theater. And Ms. Palmer, who is the head of our arts department, will be here to also talk about some of our arts choices. You will have questions about these specific courses, and I want to tell you that your students, your children now, are in the process in advisory of moving through introductions to these courses with the teachers that teach them. So although you will have questions, the first person that you should turn to when you're learning about these is to talk to your kids about what they are learning in advisory. And then we have resources which will be shared on our program of studies that links to all of our IB documentation about what these courses technically contain. So we have opportunities to explore what these subject choices mean. Okay, there's a lot of information on this slide, but I want to tell you that you can spend some time with it later, right? And I'm going to talk you through what it means now because it helps. There are several pathways through the diploma program. The first one is where every student in the diploma program is required to take 6 subjects. They're required to take 3 higher level and 3 standard level. And the broadest and kind of most traditional choice is to choose 1 subject from each of the subject groups. So you can see here what a model choice might look like for a student who chooses 1 from each group. They're doing 1 language A, English A, Spanish B, psychology for their INS. They're choosing biology for their science. They're doing maths AI, and they're doing film for their art. And you can begin to see from the SL and HL designation, SL stands for standard level, which has slightly fewer hours and slightly fewer number of assessments in it, versus higher level, which has several more hours of teaching and slightly more complex assessments with it, that they are getting a very balanced program there. The second choice is 6 subjects, again, 3 higher level, 3 standard level, 1 from each subject group 1 through 5, and 1 additional subject from groups 1 through 5. Many of our students know that they would like to go towards a science focus or a humanities focus. And so they will choose, as this student has done, to do 2 sciences, biology or environmental systems and societies. Or if you think about it from the humanities view, to do psychology and environmental systems and societies as their double choice. And you'll see that group 6, the arts, is not present in this choice. Another option is to do the bilingual diploma, as we talked about before, and you will see that instead of doing a language B, the student does English A and Czech A. And for our students who choose to take Czech A here is offered only at the higher level, and because you need it for Czech universities and Czech accreditation here. Okay, these are some of the options, and we can help your child as they move through the process with their counselors and as they hear about the groups inside of advisory to make decisions that work best for your child and what they would like to study. And that's the diploma program. Who's doing this one? Okay, I guess I'm doing this slide too. So this is our course selection process. You're here tonight. Thank you so much for being here. It matters to us that you are here. In November through December, in the grade 10 advisory, students will be meeting with subject teachers to hear more about each of the subject groups. In December, the grade 10 in grade 10 advisory, students will be making their initial choices around subject areas. And then, and course selections. In January through February, you will be meeting with our counseling team, and our counseling team will talk to you in just a moment about what that might look like, one-on-one, to confirm your choices and to have a conversation so you're not just choosing out of thin air, but you're making choices that are based not only in the context of our school, but in the context of your child's future. And then finally, in February, we'll have final choices entered by that. Okay. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Fransky to answer all of your important questions about mathematics.
Let's give Ms. Lenk a round of applause. I hear I'm tied to the microphone. This is difficult for me, but we'll see how I can do. I hope you're all excited as I am to talk about math, because who wouldn't be, right? I brought a prop because you know I'm going to have graphs, and so I'm going to be able to hopefully stay somewhat close to the microphone and still point. So if I know two things about the IB, they love acronyms and they love diagrams. And when they chose acronyms for math, for some reason they chose AA and AI, which are very close to each other. And when it comes time to write IAs in your math AI course and you're told that you're not allowed to use artificial intelligence, which is AI, things can get very confusing. So they decided that they needed us to break down just a little bit about math on our opening night here so that you guys have an idea of what's going on. So the two math courses are applications and interpretations, which you will hear everyone called AI, and analysis and approaches, which we call AA. So a little bit about what these choices are. So you have an HL and an SL option in each one. And in general, the applications course, so the AI course, if you are a person who likes to think, how will math help me? How will it help me to be able to make sense of the world? How can I apply it to certain areas of study? Finance, economics, great way to go with AI. I'm going to have more lists of kind of career choices in a second. If you are a person that was like me in high school, where you just like to do math because math is cool, right? You enjoy math. You see it as a puzzle, right? Math is something to be figured out. I don't really care how it's useful, but it's fun. I enjoy doing math. That's more the AA side, right? The analysis and approaches. It's much more of a traditional math class. So if your parents took trigonometry, geometry, and calculus, that is kind of the AA side. AI, a lot more statistics-based. Very statistics-based, lots of functions and applied functions. So looking at kind of how math interacts with the real world. So I promised graphs, here they are. The first thing you'll notice is that in HL math, there's just a lot more math. Right? And hopefully that makes sense to you, right? So often what I tell kids when they say, I really want to go to University X, I must take this math course. I say, okay, how do you see your last 2 years of high school going? Because if you take this course, this AAHL course, you're going to be spending most of your time doing math. And that is not an exaggeration. A student who takes an HL math course that is not adequately prepared to take an HL math course will spend a lot of time doing math. And that's not to scare anyone away, it's just the reality. The best resource, as Ms. Lenk said, is your teacher. Talk to your teacher, what math class do you think is right for me? And if they tell you, yes, I think HL is a great challenge for you, I think that's a great opportunity, fantastic. If they say, you know, what do you want to study? And they think that an SL course is better for you, please listen to your math teachers. Every year, someone goes for HL that we don't recommend. And one of two things happens. Either they have to settle for a lower grade than maybe they would want, or they spend a lot of time doing math. Especially for the AAHL course, I'm going to talk a little bit more about it in just a second, but the AAHL course, if a student did not take our extended math program, we have a required course of study for them to study between 10th and 11th grade, because it is that hard. We need people to be prepared for that math class when they enter. So it's just a heads up, just in case that's kind of where you have your sights set. As I mentioned before, very much algebra, geometry trig, and calculus. Kind of the traditional math side is the AA, and with AI, lots and lots of statistics, right? That's the course I teach AIHL. I love it. We do a lot of stats. I love calculus and trigonometry as well. I wish I could have it all, but yes, just something to notice, right? So kind of the aims of each one of these courses. So how do you decide? What's your interest? What do you want to do? Do you want to be an engineer? Do you want to be an economist? Do you want to go into finance, right? Do you want to be an artist, right? These are different things to consider when you're thinking, which math class do I need to take and how hard do I want it to be, okay? Your readiness. Ask your teacher, how are you doing? Will you be ready for the math class? And also where you want to study. Universities in Germany, looking at the Bobingers, are especially picky about what math you take, right? So make sure you talk to, sorry, I didn't mean to embarrass you, right? So make sure you talk to your teacher and you talk to your university where you're looking at studying about what they expect you to take. Okay? So take a second, and I'm sure this is going to be shared with all of you, but I love all the parents taking pictures of the slides. It's really fun. Take a look at this list and think, do I kind of see myself more in list 1 or more in list 2? And I think you'll be able to make a prediction about this. But are you looking more at an artist, animation, humanities, fashion design, political scientist? Are you looking at engineer, economist, maybe going into finance, life sciences, physical sciences? This is a very blanket statement. Talk to your teachers is the moral today, okay? But if you see yourself more on the engineering, physical sciences side of things, an AASL or an AIHL might be right for you. If you're in extended math, our extended math program is directly constructed to send you to AAHL. That does not mean everyone will go there. If you took extended math, you would be very happy in any one of these 4 courses. Okay? Extended math, though, is designed to put people here. We often do not recommend that people in core or standard math go to AAHL because it's a big step to make. Doesn't mean it's impossible, but it's very, very challenging. Okay? Our standard course is designed to send people to AIHL or either of the SL courses. I teach, about half of my class came from standard math that's in AIHL right now, and they do wonderfully because they're really good at interpreting and applying math to different situations. The kids coming out of extended, really great algebra skills, sometimes struggle a little bit with kind of the application side of things, right? What should you do if you're not sure? Ask your teacher. I'm glad some of you are listening. That's fantastic. This is my last slide. I was given 5 minutes. I don't know how I'm doing. All right? So this is a diagram that we use to kind of show a general flow of where kids come from and where they tend to go. Most of our students are in grade 10 standard, right? That's probably some of you. Okay? We have some students in core and some students in extended. You can kind of see this was actually exact data from 2 years ago. So you can see that our AIHL class, very mixed, right? We have some students from standard, we have a few from extended, and we had 1 student that came from core. They worked really hard and ended up getting a 5. Just FYI. Blanket statements, right? You can see our AAHL, really designed for extended math kids. These 2 kids are the ones I told you about that had to work really hard. They spent a lot of their IB Diploma years doing math. A lot of time with teachers, a lot of time with tutors, a lot of time studying. You can see in our AISL, this is our most popular math course. We have a lot of students that take that course. Really good application, a lot of diversity, a lot of options for you in moving into university. The AASL course, this is one that is algebra heavy, but it's not as hard as the HL. Right? So hopefully this is giving you kind of just a general idea of where our math students tend to go. I see some nodding heads. This is good. Okay. So if you were to give me a fist to 5, where 5 is like I absolutely 100% understand what's going on with the math courses, and a fist is I am totally in the weeds. If everyone just right in front of your chest right now could give me a fist to 5, where do you feel about kind of what you understand for the math program? Go for it. I'm ready. All right, here. Okay. All right. I'm going to average that out at a 4, Dr. Sturm. How do you feel about that? Is that good? All right. Thank you so much. Enjoy yourself.
Hi, my name is Kirsten Palmer, and I am the CO of the arts team, the department, and I forgot that there were slides. So I'm going to talk, and then we're just going to run through the slides, okay? And that's how we're going to roll. This is my second anniversary of speaking at the DP 10th grade night, DPCP 10th grade night. So I think that's diamonds or gold or something, or wine. Either way, but we were celebrating that anniversary. I just want to tell you that I am really privileged to speak here about the arts. It is my passion. It is not just visual arts, because I am the visual arts teacher, but I majored in theater. I was also kind of musically inclined because I sing. So they called me a triple threat, which means that you can dance, you can sing, and you can act. And I also can paint and draw. And so I love all of the things about the arts. And it is my dream that in 3+ years' times that you're going to come up to me and say, hey, Kirsten, do you remember when you spoke at the DPCP night? And I'm going to be like, yeah. And they're like, and you're going to say, do you remember when you pushed us to like support our student, our child in the arts, and say, yes, take a 2-year course in theater, in music, in film, in visual arts. It will not diminish them being a doctor. It will not diminish them being an engineer. It will not diminish them being an artist. But instead, it made them better. It made them better because they can generate their own ideas. They can sit with a problem and they can design things. They can refine, they can reflect. And they became a better person. They became a better doctor. They became a better lawyer. They became a better politician. They became a better artist. And I'm going to be like, yeah, I do. And you're going to say thank you. And it's going to be an amazing conversation in 3+ years. And it's going to be great. And so I just want to remind you how important the arts are, that finding if your child is passionate about the arts for 2 years, for their 11th and 12th grade year, let them be passionate about the arts. It will round them out as a human. It will make them see things differently and open different doors for them. I have ex-students that are now working in environmental sciences and yet have a job already if they're freshman, second year, designing the stickers for the environmental science programs that they're celebrating. So their arts program is already doing that. I have a student at the London School of Arts, and she just spent a semester in Japan learning from them. I have a student that accepted into Parsons and actually is in France working at a design company. And the clothing that she posts on Instagram is amazing. So the avenues are different. A little bit about myself. My sister was a cabinet maker and a furniture designer, and now she does intervention programs at schools. My father was a photographer and sold his photography well into his 70s, but first he was a minister and an antique dealer and a social rights activist. My brother-in-law is a composite engineer, but designs for the designs of the Army helmets that people wear in the United States. That took art also. My husband, you all know him, Mr. Thompson. We all know and love him. I do. But he and I just spent a moment in the faculty lounge, the teacher lounge, which is I call the place where I get coffee and photocopy. But he and I just spoke about dilation in math and how he can use the XY axis to talk about a vanishing point and perspective. So arts is not limiting. Okay? My mom, she's the woman that keeps telling me, or she still buys my art. You know, you got to feel good about yourself, right? My mom still buys it and pressures me. And she took me to all my theater practices and rehearsals. So I just want to remind you that of all the things that you can be with the arts. And at this school, we have this amazing programming. We have film, we have theater, we have visual arts, and we have music. And you have these opportunities to sit with something that's hard, and you end up with an amazing product at the end. And it can lead to a portfolio for later on in your life. So thinking about that and sitting with that is really big. And yes, being two sciences, I mean, that's great. I love that. But you don't have to. And you can still be a doctor. You can sit with the visual arts. And I'm going to put a shameless plug in here. They've changed the programming, which is a lot easier now, just so you're saying, just the 10th graders will learn about it. But it's really great. The arts are really great. And it's something that I feel is inside everybody, and it has this opportunity. We have this opportunity at this school to build this. Okay? And I will say it's passionate, if you can't tell. I was like, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry. Self-expression and creative and critical thinking. All of those things. You can be all of those things and still be a musician. You can still be a thespian. You can still be a filmmaker, and you can still be a visual artist. And now I'm going to see if there's another slide. Oh. Other way.
You're going back again. The other arrow.
I think there's so many arrows. Why study arts? Okay, so we talked about this. I walked up here and I was like, well, honey, I'm really nervous. Okay, art marks are not dependent on an exam. I would say that it's true. Like you don't have an exam, you're done with it by April. You don't have to think about that if you're thinking about how my child is going to look at this. And it is a direct line into your child's passion. And it is something to be celebrated. And it is something to be loved and cherished. And I think it's really important. And please talk to Mr. Rivera, talk to me, talk to Mr. Miller, talk to Mr. Chapman, talk to the people that you already have these classes with and be like, dude, what do you think? But I also really like music. I'm like, okay, that's okay. Take any of the arts. I will support you in any of the arts. And now, this is, I remember this from last year now. And it's just the idea that when you're stuck with something and you don't know how to solve it, the arts teach you how to solve it. They teach you that creativity, that design, that link, that cycle that you have to go through, and it teaches you to be uncomfortable. Absolutely uncomfortable. And it's okay. It is really okay. And then I think that's all I have. If you have any questions, again, we have amazing programming here. Film, theater, visual arts, and music. And if you have any questions about any of that programming, please come and talk to me. The theater program has been redone. It's totally changed. Visual arts has totally changed. Music is such a dynamic way to do this. If you love music and you're still not sure, they have made pathways for electronic music into music, right? So there's things have changed in this world. And I will mention this. We are scared of AI taking away our jobs. AI will never take away our creativity, will never take away our individuality. And the way that we protect that is through the arts. And there's many things to regret in your life, but supporting the arts is not one of them. Please come to Madagascar Junior and the MYP Showcase and then the band concert. They're all in December. Thank you very much.
Hi, folks. My name is Charlie Brondell, and I'm the grade 9 and 10 counselor. So just to give you a little bit of an idea of what we've been doing with the kids to sort of prep them for their big moment in December when they make their initial round of course choices. We just thought we'd give you a little bit of a look into Maya Learning. The students, starting in the spring of their grade 9 year, began a series of inventories and assessments in the Maya Learning platform. One was kind of an abbreviated version of the Myers-Briggs personality inventory, so they can get a sense of what their personality might be like, their personality acronym. Then we kind of measured that against potential career choices. Some students were very disappointed with the ones that they got. Other students were a little bit more optimistic. Of course, we're not holding them to anything. More importantly than that, the students filled out a series of self-reflections on all of the inventories that they did. And that serves two purposes. The first purpose is to get the students thinking a little bit about what the future has in store for them, because if you're like I was in 10th grade, all of a sudden one day it just kind of hits you that you're supposed to be making these big choices and you feel maybe a little bit unprepared. And then the second and perhaps more kind of objective thing is we want Miss Raggio and Miss Manfredi to have something to work with before they sit down for their first meetings with you and with your students. And these reflections help them get a sense of how your student views themselves, views their potential career options, views their work attributes, their work dispositions, so on and so forth. So this has been sort of a work in progress over the past 6 months, 7 months. And as we go forward in November and December, as Ms. Lenk said earlier in the slideshow, we have been rolling out the different course options for both the diploma program, career pathways, and courses. So recently, last week, the students, not last week because we were on vacation, the students recently had the initial DP-CP rollout, and then today there was the group 1 and 2, so Lang and Lit, and then modern language group rollout. And we'll continue that into December when they wind up making their first round of choices. And so with that said, I will hand things over to Ms. Manfredi.
Hi, everybody. Thank you, Mr. Blundell. I'm Brenda Manfredi. I am one of the two 11th and 12th grade counselors. So what will happen in January at the end of the semester is we will absorb your children into our caseloads. We kind of keep them for the 2.5 years, but this is the time that we really start to get to know them. And what Mr. Brondell said was absolutely true. When you walk into my office for your meeting, I would have already known quite a bit about you based on the data and your reflections. So it's really important because you are sort of sitting there right now, and I know the emotion around what's happening, both from the student side and from the parent side. And most of what you're thinking is, what if we make the biggest mistake and screw up our kid's life forever? I'm here to tell you that's not possible. You won't do that. Because no matter what, and you are fantastic case studies of this, please refer to your own education when you think about your child's education. You are not who you are because of what you did in high school. Raise your hand if you disagree with that. I'm done. I'm out.
That's good.
Okay, because it really is the truth. And what I see as a person who advocates and cares for young people is that the sort of stress and anxiety about this time of year exceeds what you're worried about. Okay? Mr. Fransky threw up a whole bunch of careers pathways up here, and that was fantastic food for thought. But I know the majority of you right now, the young people in the room, you have no idea what you want to do. And you may think you know what you want to do, and it's likely to change 5 or 6 times. So know that no matter what you choose, the pathway you choose, the course you choose, the level that you choose, if you want to get somewhere in life, you will get there regardless of what IB courses you choose. Yeah? Okay. With that being said, it is a great time to start talking at home. It is a great time to start doing some research. It is a great time to sort of talk about what life might be like for yourself and for your child after you leave us. And it likely will change 6 or 7 times. And that's fine. And we will work with that. When you're thinking about the subjects, university, study, like you got 2 years, 2.5 years left with us. I want you to focus on that right now. What are you interested in? It is the first time in your academic career that your children have so much choice in what it is they have to study. What do you enjoy the most? If you are going to enter a course for 2 years, probably the last time in your life that you'll ever take a course for 2 years long, you better look forward to going into that classroom every day. Maybe not every day, every other day. All right, so interest, inquiry, and curiosity, super important. What are my strengths? And you want to choose courses that you're not going to struggle in. And you can do that because we have so much on offer. Yeah? And then levels of those courses. Am I going to take a higher level course and spend 30, 40 more hours in that course and struggle for 30 or 40 more hours of my academic career? Might not be the best choice. Mr. Fransky, what do you say? 15 times. Talk to your teachers. Talk to your INS teachers. See where they see where you light up in class, where you get excited in class, where you're able to show high aptitude in class. And again, theoretical versus practical. A really great course deciphering theoretical work to practical work is the difference between economics and business management. Some students go in to economics because they think it's the more prestigious course. Oh, everybody needs to know about economics, anything about economics. But then they're like, all we're doing is theorizing. We're just wondering. I just want to know, how do I start up my business? How do I work with people? How do I market a product? Economics is not the place to theorize doing that. Business management is. So are you more of a theoretical worker or learner, or are you more of a practical worker? And then the last line, where do I want to spend my time? 2 years, coming to school, coming to campus every day, where do I want to spend my time? That's the most important piece of the next 2-year journey for you and your child. The last piece, I'm not saying it's not important, but the consideration to start to think about right now is, if I want to achieve learning at university, are there certain subjects, or is there a pathway that's best suited if I directly want to enter that university? And what I mean by that is, Ms. Palmer said, did she leave already? She did. Yep, there she is. You can be a doctor and take film. That is true. Depends where you're going to study medicine and when you want to study medicine. If you want to study medicine when you're 19 years old, you can't do that in the United States. You have to do an undergraduate degree first. If you want to study medicine in the UK when you're 19 years old, you're going to need chemistry, higher level, and biology, higher level. So it depends where, and it depends when. If you want to enter an engineering program or a physics program that requires HL math, and you are not ready for HL math right now, but maybe you're ready in 2 years, you can take a math exam for that university, but you don't have to struggle through an IB HL class with us. So there's different pathway options. It's not absolute. In general, and I'm just looking right now at the majority of where our kids are targeting. The world is big. We cover the whole world, and we are happy in our individual meetings to discuss that with you. United States does not require an IB diploma. They don't. They require the diploma you've been working on since September of last year, which is your American high school diploma. All of you will graduate, hopefully, with 2 qualifications. Your American high school diploma and either the CP or the DP. The American high school diploma is what the United States, I've been walking away from this quite a bit, haven't I? Require. For Canada, maybe there could be some requirements for science, engineering, or business. For the UK, I'm going to tell you about UK universities. There's no mystery. You go, they tell you what they need. They'll tell you numbers, they'll tell you courses. They accept both the DP, and universities also are beginning more and more and more to accept the CP. Now, sometimes a country will put down a qualification based on their government requirements. Universities have no say. For example, in the Netherlands, a very popular destination for our students, the government equates their VWO, which is their 4-year program of secondary school, they equate that to the IB Diploma. So research universities and university colleges must require the IB Diploma, often with no specific points. It is the qualification itself. The University of Applied Science, which is the more practical education, will take both the American High School Diploma and the CP program. So in different countries, it can look a little bit different. Let's do our research together. Let's learn about it, and let's make the best decision we can at this point, knowing that there's always a pathway afterwards. Yeah? And hopefully that just lessens the anxiety a little bit. I am going to mention Germany, our neighbors. For some reason, they do put specification on our diploma courses for entry to their public universities. Not their private universities, but their public universities. So Germany says, you know what? We need specific courses that you take in your diploma course offering in order to come to our universities. Yeah? So if Germany is in your wheelhouse of thinking that you'd like to access their bachelor programs, we need to talk pretty specifically about those courses. Yeah? But it's rare. Don't think that that's common. That's an uncommon request from a country. Okay? All right. Again, so what are you going to start talking about at home? What are you going to come ready in January and February to talk to us about? Because we hope that you come with ideas. We hope that you come with questions. And we hope that if we don't know the answer right off the bat, we know we can get you that answer. Yeah? So what country systems are open and affordable and make sense for your family? Talk about that at home. Let your children know what is attainable. How far can they go? How far do you want them to go? How far do you not want them to go? What are the financial considerations you have as a family right now when it comes to tuition, room and board, and travel expenses? Those are great conversations to start to have with your children right now. Yeah? Again, what are some of the options? You don't have to be 100%. You don't even have to have that exact option. Just what are some of the things that you think are cool out there that you'd like to do and you'd like to study? And then the last one is we will help you decide what IB courses make the best sense for you in the next 2 years. Okay? Now, what I will say is that, yes, we are asking for a preliminary list in December. Don't freak out. Preliminary means it can change. What do we do with that list? Well, what we do is we send it to Mr. Fransky, we send it to the modern language teachers, and we share it with your INS teachers and your science teachers, and we say, give us your recommendation based on what you know of the student as a learner in math, of what level and what course you think is best for them. So when we sit down, you and I sit down, I have that information at my fingertips from the teachers to share with you, okay? It helps a lot in math, it helps a lot in languages, and it certainly helps in INS and sciences as well, yeah? The second kind of benchmark is that after we meet, I am going to enter those courses for your child in our system. From that entry, Dr. Sturm is going to build a master schedule. It is always built from grade 10 course choices, is it not? Correct. Dr. Sturm takes a lot of pride in building a schedule that gets the majority of students what they want, and he does a very good job of it. Once that schedule is built, it's our schedule. It's our blockings. That doesn't mean that you can't make a change after the schedule is built as long as it fits in the blockings. Does that make sense? And I hope that also alleviates a little bit of your pressure. But we have to build a schedule. He has to get the right teachers teaching these courses. And this is why we take this process to do that. So it's really important that you understand that. Okay? I have in the presentation that you will be shared with some links to some very common search options. UCAS is the UK. Study in Holland are all the Dutch universities of applied science and research universities. The IB works diligently with universities all over the world to make sure that the colleges, the universities know the rigor and what's involved in the IB program. So you can go to the IB country recognition systems and you're thinking, I want my kid to go to Estonia. Estonia is listed. They'll tell you exactly what they need, okay? And then again, what Ms. Raggio and I have done is we have compiled a whole bunch of resources in our upper school website. Well, you can search by country, you can search by university, you can search by what you think you might be interested in studying. And then, this is the big one, we will sit down for about 45 minutes to about an hour, whatever we need. You will be sent an invitation from Ms. Simkova in the upper school office. You can come in person, I hope, or by Zoom, that works well. You're in your office, we Zoom you in, your kid's sitting next to me, and we're wrapping it up, okay? So that is absolutely fine. We have about 40 students, 45 students to get through each of us. So we really ask that you try and keep those appointments. If for some reason you're traveling, you're out of town, whatever, then you can just get back and reschedule it. But we want to get all these meetings done before the ski holiday in February. That's our goal every year. Okay?
Let's give Ms. Manfredi a round of applause, please. Okay, so we are in the middle of this process, and I want to mention this is a process, as we keep emphasizing. It's not like you have to have all the answers now. This is going to take some weeks and months to finalize everything. So tonight is the 11th. We are meeting in advisories with all the subject teachers. The students have been doing that. We will give those initial choices before we go away for the winter break, but those are initial choices. In January, our counselors will meet with each and every one of you. And then in February, only in February are the final choices developed. And that's when, as Ms. Manfredi mentions, we start to build the master schedule. This is an important website that is going to be released to you this week in the parent contact along with this presentation. This has everything, including all of the helpful links. It's got the IB subject briefs. It has every course that we offer. It is full of information. So please use this as a resource and use it to help you ask questions of us so we can give you the right information. And here's a few more websites that I think some of these have already been mentioned. The counselors have a website. The IB website itself is useful, and that's the Program of Studies. And lastly, as we keep saying, please ask questions. Even if you have questions immediately tomorrow, you can reach out to any one of us. We're here to help you. The teachers are here to help you. This is a process. You don't expect to have all the answers right now. Okay? And with that, we want to thank everybody for coming. It's been a pleasure seeing you. We'll stay up here, our team, if you have any questions, but have a great evening and drive carefully, please. Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
So we're moving at the end of this year.